Hello everybody, it's Vera here and welcome to another benchmark. Today I'm going to be testing out Once Human. As you can see, I'm going to be benchmarking the RTX 3060 Ti. I have the latest Nvidia drivers installed and yeah, got the game installed on a normal SSD, no NVMe here today. We're going to begin at 1080p resolution. As you can see here, we're going to go into the performance and I'm using the very high preset. For some reason there's two very high presets. It's kind of like very high and then ultra, I guess, but I've gone ahead and manually adjusted everything to the absolute maximum here. As you can see, motion blur is of course turned off. Draw distance has reset itself to medium for some reason, so I'll go ahead and apply that. And by the way, I have already restarted the game to apply these settings, so let's jump on in, see how 1080p maximum settings plays. So I'm just in the tutorial area of the game. I actually played this game a couple of weeks ago or a few months ago, because it was on my radar a while back when it was they opened the servers for a little bit for people to test it, I think, and I actually gave it a go, but I haven't played the game since it released. So here I am on the tutorial, I guess, or in the starting zone. I'm not going to bother looting everything because this is definitely a game in which I know I won't play, so there's really no point in me looting everything. But as you can see here, in this area at least, at 1080p, we're getting about 120 FPS. I have actually seen the FPS go to like 140 at times. He can attack me if he wants, but yeah, it looks like we're going to be getting around 120, 130 FPS, at least in this area. When I did play last time, I did get outside into an outside area, which should be, I know, outside into an outside area, truly astonishing. But I believe when we actually do make it outside, it should be more graphically intensive for sure. Alright, so I've managed to get through that little tutorial thing, and here we are outside. Now, I don't want to go into the house yet. I just want to kind of wander around and see what our frame rate is like out here. I really don't know anything about the game, because this is where I got to when I tested out the game a few weeks ago. The water looks pretty good, you know, for sure. The swampy area looks pretty decent out here. I'm not going to go into the house yet. But in terms of like the graphics here, it's actually pretty clean looking. It's pretty good. We're getting around 100 FPS outside too, which is not bad at all. And I'm not seeing that GPU usage move at all here, but as you probably already noticed, it's actually fairly CPU intensive. I mean, look at that. We were just at like 40%, and I did see my CPU spike up to like 80% usage at times when I was in that tutorial area, so there might be some optimization issues. You saw that there, like 50% CPU usage. That's quite a lot. So it's pretty likely that you're going to need a fairly decent CPU to play this as well. You know, back in the day, you could definitely skip on CPUs quite a bit, but I feel like the last couple of years, games have been very CPU intensive as well. It's not just GPU intensive anymore for the most part. A lot of games are requiring pretty beefy CPUs as well. But I think that's going to do it for 1080p. Absolute maximum settings is clearly fine. We're not going to test any lower settings here at 1080p. You can play at ultra. It's completely fine, guys. Maximum settings. Let's get to 1440p. Alrighty, so there we are. We're at 1440p with the maximum settings in the game, as you can see. Not counting motion blur, of course. But yeah, it looks a hell of a lot cleaner here. Wait, is there motion blur still added? Do you guys see this? I think there's still motion blur, even though we turn motion blur off, there's still motion blur. Look at this. Like, it is turned off, and by the way, it says that the game needs to be restarted to apply settings down here sometimes. I already have restarted the game before doing this. For some reason it says that I need to restart my game still, even though I've already restarted it. Yeah, there's definitely like a motion blur. There's definitely some sort of motion blur going on here. Do you see this? Just look at the grass as I move. Now, YouTube is going to butcher the quality, but yeah, there's definitely something weird going on there. There's definitely some sort of motion blur still being applied, even with it being turned off. Like, it's really bizarre. It's really jarring when you spot it. But going from 1080p to 1440p, we have lost, obviously, the expected amount of performance. We're down to around 70s, 80s FPS range out here. I don't know if this is the most intensive area in the game, probably not. But this is definitely not a game that I'm going to be putting any time into personally, because it's definitely not a game that piques my interest at all. So I won't be playing it at all, guys. But over here, 80, we almost got 90 FPS there. I guess it was because I was kind of looking at the sky a little bit more. Yeah. But the game looks great. That quality jump from 1080p to 1440p is definitely definitely noticeable. I would say if you can, definitely try and play at 1440p these days minimum. Yeah, it's a hell of a lot better looking than 1080p. And if you're wondering why I sound a bit weird and my thoughts are a little bit incoherent today, I am still ill, so I'm not feeling 100%. So do bear with me while I do this benchmark. But the CPU usage is still spiking up sometimes, like 70, 80%. Very random. It's sometimes just fluctuating quite a bit here. I'm not sure as to why that is, but the game, even though the CPU usage is fluctuating quite a bit, I'm not seeing any stutters here. The 1% lows are really stable, and the game just feels completely fine to play. We are creeping up to around 16 gigs of RAM usage, but it's still fine. So yeah, if you got 16 gigs of RAM, you can still play this game most likely completely fine here. Let me go ahead and mine this real quick with course with a stone, but a maximum settings 1440p, it still feels completely fine. It's not the fastest game, at least I haven't got to like any fast combat yet or anything. So even though our FPS isn't at that 100 range, it still feels completely fine to play here, guys. So what I'll do is I'll switch down the settings quite a bit, and we'll see what like the maximum FPS we can get here in the game is. Alright, so I've just restarted my game. We're still playing at 1440p. I have gone ahead and changed the graphics quality to the medium preset, which is why I had to restart the game, because obviously a lot of the settings here you need to restart the game to apply the settings. So let's jump back in and see what the performance is going to be like here. And here we are. So 1440p medium settings. I've just gone in so you could see some of the textures were kind of loading in there, but going to medium from ultra, it actually looks pretty similar. I can't really... Can you guys see the difference? I mean, maybe in some of the bushes and stuff at distance, they look a little bit more clumped, but the game still looks completely fine, and we're getting 100 FPS now. We're getting actually over 100 FPS at 1440p, so yeah. The reason why I'm not testing like the very high settings in terms of like the second option, the lower very high, we'll call it high because it's, I don't know why they're both called very high, but there we go, is because it probably wouldn't be that much of a difference in performance. So it's kind of like pointless to checking it. And also I'm not going to test low or anything here today, because honestly with a card like this you probably just want to have better graphics, and you totally can. I mean, 100 FPS in a game like this, playing at these graphics, even though it's only medium, I think is completely fine. I don't really feel the need to go down to low settings just to get more FPS. 100 FPS in a game like this should be fine. Now, I don't know if this game is PvP. I really don't know. It might just be PvE. I don't know. Typically, if a game is PvP, that's when you need more FPS, but it depends on the game's combat as well, or the game itself, right? But yeah, for this game, I'm going to say medium actually looks pretty good. I don't think there's any DLSS or anything for this game. I couldn't find it in any of the menus. This game is a little bit weird with how its menus work. Yeah, but I couldn't find DLSS or any FSR options or anything like that. But I heavily feel like this is a cross-platform game. Like, I feel like this is available. Whoa, what the? Oh, it's a world border. Oh my god. Okay. I thought it was I thought we just found some really bugged graphical glitch. It's just a world border, but no, it looks good. Like, the game looks great, in all honesty. Like, look at my character model. Like, the reflections on the backpack thing and everything, like, it's really good. Like, it's not bad at all. It kind of reminds me of like a mobile game, though. You know, I'm sure it's available on mobile. There's no way it's not. Not with how its menus and stuff are designed, there's no way this is not on mobile. But that's going to do it for today's video. My throat is getting very sore now. I'm not feeling too good again. But hopefully you found some use out of this benchmark. I am actually losing my voice at this point. But leave a like if you found any value out of it. Subscribe if you haven't already. And until next time, guys, take care of yourselves. And goodbye for now. Fully losing my voice. Oh my god.